Hello and welcome to Simple Country Place, real life cooking, cleaning, and lifestyle. Today I have 4 meal ideas for you today. Please stick around and subscribe. Welcome and enjoy. So the first meal idea is egg salad, and I know who doesn't know how to make egg salad, right? But I included it because maybe it's just me, I forget about egg salad. And this week my husband was on a guy's trip, so I was home alone because my nephew was with him as well. And so I made this egg salad for me, and I had it for like 2-ish meals. So as you can see here, I am just de-shelling the hard-boiled eggs. I know everyone has their own way of doing this. I'm sure this is not the best way, but this is how I've always done it, so that's what I continue to do. So after they're de-shelled, I mash them up like pretty finely, honestly. I don't like huge chunks of egg in it. And I always like a dill flavor, so even with like egg salad, potato salad, things like that, I always add some sort of dill. A lot of times I add relish, but I didn't have that, so I'm just adding dill pickles, cutting those up. And then obviously adding the dill pickles I cut up, and then I'm also adding a splash of the juice, the dill pickle juice. And then it's just super simple. Miracle Whip and or mayo, whatever you prefer. Yellow mustard and black pepper. I never add salt to mine. Sometimes I'll add like celery seed, but I didn't. Or sometimes I'll actually just add celery, but I also didn't. And I just taste test it and continue to adjust as needed to my preference. But like I said, my husband was gone, so I didn't like plate this up, but I had it like a sandwich one day. You can do wraps. A lot of the times I'll like dip crackers in it or celery. I dip celery in it and eat it like that. And yeah, it was delicious, and it's low carb if you're on that. I'm not, but it is low carb. So this day, my husband's back, and I'm making Sloppy Joe grilled cheeses. So I'm browning up some hamburger here. And then to that, I'm adding minced onion, garlic, salt and pepper, and brown sugar, ketchup, mustard, and Worcestershire sauce. I know I'm not saying that right, but you know what I mean. I didn't make it very like super sloppy Joe saucy, because we just had those not that long ago. But I wanted some sort of sauce, so it wasn't just like beef on a grilled cheese. So once all that's mixed together, it's time for like the grilled cheese part. And I don't know, I know a lot of people like butter their bread and then grill it or fry it, but I always melt the butter in the pan and then I put the bread in. Don't know if that's better or worse. That's just how I do it. It seems easier to me. But today that day I was using sourdough bread. That's just what we had on hand, and putting that meat mixture on, and then I'm putting American cheese and provolone. That was just the two types of cheeses that were open. And who doesn't like an extra cheesy sandwich? With this, I'm serving those oven-baked potatoes, not like baked potatoes, but like diced up, cooked in tin foil, oven potatoes. Those are Tim's favorite, my husband, and he specifically wanted something with those when this was his first day home. So, what do you want? That's what he requested. And he likes the Sloppy Joe grilled cheeses too, but he just really wanted those potatoes. So that is what I served it with. So this night is super easy, and it was a big hit in my house. So I'm making buffalo chicken and potato, like a casserole type dish, I guess. So I'm dicing up the potatoes, and I'll be making a sauce, and you want to put your potatoes in the sauce, but don't use all of it, and then put those in a casserole dish and bake that at like 425 for a series of minutes. Okay, here's the sauce. So for the sauce, olive oil, hot sauce, we like the Aldi brand, so that's what I use, but your favorite buffalo type sauce, paprika, garlic powder, and ranch seasoning. And then, like I said, the potatoes will go in that, but you don't want to just dump it in a casserole dish. You want to like pull them back out after they're coated and put those in the oven first at 425 for like 15 or so minutes. It depends on how many you're doing, but to like partially cook them. And then as they're in the oven, you're going to cut up your chicken. I use chicken thighs, but you can use breasts, legs, whatever, and have those marinate in the sauce as your potatoes are cooking. So then after that 15-20 minute mark, you take the casserole dish out, dump the chicken and then the rest of the sauce in there, cover it back up, and put it back in the oven for another like 15 or 20 minutes or so until the chicken's cooked, the potatoes are soft, and everything's done, because obviously the potatoes take longer than the chicken. So there's my prepared baking dish. I should have used a better utensil than what I had, but that's the one I started with, and I didn't want to dirty another one, so I just struggled throughout the process. Think smarter, not harder. And yeah, so you'll see me put the potatoes in. I didn't film like cutting up the chicken and all that because it was literally just raw chicken, and then I threw it in that same sauce and then dumped out the sauce and the chicken after that 20-minute mark. But after everything was cooked, I just drizzled it out of the oven, let it sit for a little bit, drizzled it with ranch dressing. You could use sour cream if that's what you prefer, whatever you prefer with your chicken wings, like your buffalo wings. And then I also topped it with some green onion. I use dried green onion, or dried chives, but you can, obviously fresh would be better. I just didn't have any. And even my nephew, who's like kind of scared of spicy stuff, liked this. So it was a hit. And I served it with just a side salad. So this night I am making pork stir fry. So I have some olive oil there and I'm adding some garlic. I'm gonna let that cook for a very short amount of time. Just until it's like super fragrant. I don't know, people say fragrant, but like garlic to me is always fragrant, but I let it cook for like a minute-ish. And then for the sauce, I'm adding honey, soy sauce, and water, and ground ginger. And then I'm going to mix that all together and let that come to like a simmer type situation. And I was actually unsure of this. Like, I like Chinese type food. My husband and my nephew are both a little iffy with it. So I didn't know, but they both like really liked this. I know it's not Chinese, but it is in that same flavor category. I also used pork loin. I had like a leftover frozen leftover pork loin that while that was coming up to a simmer, I like chopped that up. I'm adding that so that can heat up in the sauce mixture. But you can use whatever meat you want. I mean, steak, chicken, anything. Now I am pulling out some of that sauce after that meat's been in there getting the flavors and stuff heating up. I'm pulling out some of the sauce and I'm making a cornstarch slurry that I will be adding back to the sauce to like thicken it up. You don't want it too thick because there's a lot of other stuff to put in here, but you do obviously want it to be able to like coat everything. So I'm making the slurry and then I'm gonna dump it back in there, mix it around, and then cover it back up. Let it continue to cook. So while that was thickening, I was also cooking 2 packs of those just ramen noodles, not with the flavoring. And then I was steaming that broccoli stir fry. Once that was steamed, I added in the broccoli stir fry, and then in a little bit here, you'll see me adding the cooked noodles. And once you mix all that together, really that's all you need. I didn't serve this with anything. You could do like egg rolls or something. I just didn't have it, and my husband doesn't like those anyway. So I just served this as it was, and like I said, they both really, really enjoyed it, which was honestly surprising to me, but it's a win. Thank you so much for watching. Please come back and subscribe.